Hey folks, Lindsay Setchell here. Oh, I'll just put my microphone in place, otherwise you're not going to hear me properly. Lindsay Setchell here from HM and the HM International School of Horse and Hoof Care, and I'm on day 21. Day 21 of going live twice on Facebook, going live twice a day on Facebook. Once on the HM public page and once in the Phoenix group. The Phoenix group, the Phoenix Way Path to Hoof Health. Now that group, if you haven't already seen it, is growing really, really quickly. It's one of the fastest growing equine Facebook groups at the moment. Why? Because there's an awful lot of problems in the equine world and people are looking for answers. People are looking for answers. Owners are looking for answers. So that kind of tells you that what's going on in the equine world isn't working. Because if so many people are trying to find the answers to the reasons why their horses aren't sound anymore, or why they've still got laminitis, or why they've still got rotation, that tells you that we have a massive disconnect within the equine world between the professionals and the owners, because it's not just a handful of owners that are struggling with their horses, it's a huge amount of owners that are struggling with their horses, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. And we've also got an epidemic of horses who are footsore. They're footsore without shoes on, they're footsore without boots on. They need protection. And that as in the latter years has been always been put down to, well, most of the time been put down to inflammation in the foot and laminitis. But it transpires more and more as we go through and search through the problems that the equine world has, that in fact, more and more, Gary and I are seeing incorrect hoof care as being part of the major reason why horses are struggling. Now, we set this Phoenix group up. We didn't really know what was going to happen, and people have been pouring in. We've got nearly 4,000 people in there, and it's only been live just 2.5 months. People are pouring in, desperate to find answers. So this whole issue with this disconnect between the professionals and the owners can't be ignored. Angela's here. Hi, Angela. It can't be ignored. And unfortunately, what we're seeing and what we're getting as a bit of a kickback towards HM, because we set this group up, etc., is that we're being called a cult. I have to say that carefully. We're being called a cult. People are still wanting to throw stones, still wanting to throw their big rocks because they don't like it. They think that we're trying to be gurus. Or they think that we're trying to be, the laminitis experts in the world, and that's just not true. And the problem is that this is about welfare. It's always been about welfare for me personally, always been about welfare. Ever since my pony, over 20 odd years ago, 25 years ago, became laminitic and had so many problems himself and had rotation of P3 in all 4 feet, and everybody that were the professionals around me, my farrier, my vets, all told me that it was a no-hoper and he had to be put to sleep. And when I managed to bring him out of it and we stopped the rotation and we learned that it was more to do with the hoof capsule, it really got me thinking. I could have had him put to sleep. I could have had him put to sleep and I wouldn't have learned anything. But I did learn something and I moved on, and I had his welfare as absolutely the most important thing that high bodies oil, that I was, that I was interested in. That was the main thing, his welfare. And as I've gone on in my career, I've met so many people who are so hard and fast and stuck in their ideals and their ideas that even though there are horses being put to sleep all around them, and that they're not curing the laminitis, and that they're trying all these different devices and methods that we've proved, we're not just proving they don't work, you're proving it yourself that they don't work because your failure rate is so high. That's not about welfare. That's not about welfare anymore. When you ignore a group of people, us, hello, that have been doing this for a very long time, and we have a very high success rate, an incredibly high success rate compared to the traditional world. If I was on the other side and I was a hoof care professional on the other side, and I was a little bit in the early days because I did all the toe removal and bringing the toe back and not really understanding why I was doing it. And then I was seeing one thing and the horses were doing something else. And I had this big disconnect. So if I was you now and I was a hoof care professional and I was a different flavor to what we are, and I'd been taught that to remove the toe, bring the toe back, it's going to stop lever forces, it's going to stop tearing of the lamina, that there's not one trim, that you have to change it depending on the horse, and it's down to your personal preference to as to how you're going to change it. If I was that person, I'd be conflicted. I know I'd be conflicted because I've been there and I know what it feels like. I'd be conflicted and I'd have to do something about it. I would have to suck it up and go and look at what these people are doing. I would have to maybe not even contact me or Gary. Maybe that's far too much. Maybe that's something that you don't want to go that far. Fair enough. But I'd get into the group and I'd really listen to what these owners are saying. I'd really look at the problems with the hoof care around the world and I'd see a pattern and I'd be thinking, hang on a minute, I was told to do that. I was told to remove the toe, maybe not trim the heels down to the hard sole plane. And once I started to see this pattern, I'd want to ask more questions. I would be conflicted. And the only way that you can really push the welfare forward for horses is to really find out. Because if these people are all over Facebook with this group that is growing so quickly, e.g. the Phoenix group, Path to Hoof Health, with all these owners that are getting in there and saying, well, everything that I've tried so far hasn't worked, and now I'm trying something different and it's working, then you have to ask questions critically. You can't just get onto Facebook, make videos about us without mentioning our name, and then just say, and just encourage people to throw stones. You know, let's throw stones at them because let's get rid of them. They're irritating. They do something completely different to everybody else. So they just think they're special. Or, you know, make jokes about lever forces. Don't do that. Don't do that, because that tells us more about your ego than it does about welfare. I changed. I had to change. I saw failure ahead of me. So I changed and I started getting success. And then I failed again. And then I started getting success. And then now, all the way down the line, I'm in a position now where I can actually say we have far more successes than failures. And the only time that we ever have failures are two reasons. One, that the horse has significant osteonecrosis of P3, and which is frustrating because that didn't need to happen. That is a hoof care problem through and through. And two, if the owner doesn't come on board and fully embrace what we're asking them to do. Those are the only times. And yet, in the equine world, failure for what we're doing, which is rehabbing laminitis and rehabbing terrible hoof problems, is huge. The failure rate is enormous. So don't be part of that. Start thinking out of the box. We're doing the thinking for you. All you have to do is come and have a look and go, is what they're saying correct? Is what they're saying right? I just need to get in there and have a look. Do it. Don't make jokes. Don't mock something that potentially could change the welfare of horses forever just because it wasn't your idea or just because you were taught differently. We've all got to get over ourselves and just think about the welfare of the horse. Just because something isn't the norm, and it's not common, or we see these long toes and we think, gosh, it's all wrong, you're just making assumptions, because you can't possibly say, well, they must trip, they must strain tendons, they must sprain ligaments, it must tear lamina. You couldn't possibly say that because you've never tried it. So unless you've lived it, how can you say that that's what happens? Because that's just an assumption. So I am saying to every hoof care professional, every equine professional in the world, don't throw your rocks and your stones. Don't. Because you have to also look within yourself and look within the industry that you're in. It's failing. It's failing in a big way. Get in the Phoenix group and go and have a look. It's failing. Well, the welfare of horses is plummeting. It's not going up. It's not welfare we're all thinking about here. It's a little bit of ego. It's a little bit of, I can't, this is what I've been taught and I can't bear them, so I'm not even going to find out. That's not for the welfare of the horse. We just have to suck it up and go with it. You may not like me. You may not like Gary. You may not like what we stand for, but that's not welfare. There have been lots and lots of people through my career who I've thought I'm not too keen on them, but I went and had a look and then went, actually, either what they were saying was right, or maybe they really did not get it right. But I'd have to go and research it myself. Don't get onto the internet, mock, ridicule, everybody piling in on the comments. Because how do you know, truly, that we're not right and that you are wrong? How do you know that 100% sure that what you're saying is right and that we're wrong? Hi, Marie-Louise from Germany. Hi, Penny. Good to see you. So get into the Phoenix group. Come and listen to our lives every evening. Every evening, 8 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock Europe. And it goes back this weekend, doesn't it? Forward, sorry, spring forward, fall back. That's what happens this weekend. For us, not everybody else in the southern hemisphere, I guess. God, look how knowledgeable I am. Come and join us. Come and join us. Mid-afternoon in North America, morning in Australia and New Zealand. Come and see us. See these lives. Don't just throw stones, because just maybe one day you might have chosen the wrong horse to back. Just maybe one day you may wish that you had taken that step inside and had a look at what the nutters are doing. Have a look at what they're doing, because it's different to what everybody else is doing. Usually people that are on the fringe have got something to say that's worth listening to. Why? Because we've got nothing to benefit from it. I don't think people realize how tough it is actually to be in a position where everybody wants to throw stones at you, where you put your head above the parapet and people just want to ridicule you, laugh at you, mock you, jeer you for years and years and years. It's not pleasant. We don't want this. We don't want you all to do that to us. But what we don't want is for welfare to be ignored. It can't be ignored. You can't ignore it, because that's your ego getting in the way. If you can't just go, right, I need to find out more, because what they're saying can't be that wrong, because too many people are following them. It's not a cult. Stop calling it, stop giving it names like that, because that just stops progression. It shouldn't do it. You need to find out more, because I guarantee 100% you don't have the answers. Do we have all the answers? No. But do we have more answers than the traditional world? Yes. So get into the Phoenix group, come and watch the lives. Maybe don't even go to the Phoenix group. Get onto to YouTube, because nobody knows who you are then. You can go and watch the YouTubes, the lives put out onto YouTube. Go and watch, go and listen. Really think about it. Don't keep putting up barriers that says, oh, it can't be right, it can't be right, just because of what you've been taught. This should be about welfare. Hi, Caroline from Portugal. Hi, Bonnie. I'll be watching the live recording this evening after work. Brilliant. So tonight, 8 o'clock UK time, mid-afternoon in North America, morning in Australia and New Zealand. We'll see you there. And I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight. I think that I might quite like to talk about breakover, because I put a post on it on the main page about it today. But maybe we'll end up talking about something else, whatever it is the members want to talk about. So hopefully we'll see you there. Let's put everything aside, put the differences aside, come in and start listening to why we might be getting better results than the traditional equine world. So, hi, Vivian. We'll see you there, hopefully, later this evening, 8 o'clock UK time. Okay, then. Bye-bye.